Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be looking at the 6th and final season of Better Call Saul. So in this concluding chapter to the show, Saul and Kim continue their mission to ruin Howard Hamlin's career while the cartel respond to the assassination attempt on Lalo Salamanca in season 5. Before we start, just a reminder that I do have a video covering the first 5 seasons of Better Call Saul, so you can check that out if you want to first. I'm going to do my best to keep this review as spoiler free as I possibly can. However, there will be a spoiler section discussing the ending. So, now that Better Call Saul is over, what did I think of the final season? Well, as you can expect, I thoroughly enjoyed it like everyone else. And I can honestly say it is the best season in the entire show. And one of the best installments in the entire Breaking Bad universe. So let's get into it. So first of all, it was great to see Saul and Kim continue to ruin Howard's reputation over the course of the season without any hesitation whatsoever, unaware that their actions will have consequences going forward. And I've got to say, Bob Odenkirk and Rhea Seehorn gave their best performances in this season. Lalo was on the run after the attempt on his life backfired, and he's still desperate to find out what Gus is hiding from him and Hector Salamanca. Tony Dalton, who played Lalo, gave it his all this season, and he was pretty scary at times, I'm not gonna lie. Nacho is doing his best to lay low after his involvement in Lalo's assassination attempt, and Michael Mando also delivered an excellent performance in particular. Gus had some great scenes here as well, one of which addresses a particular fan theory surrounding him. If you're also expecting any more Breaking Bad characters to make appearances in this season, well, you're in luck. On a more technical note, this is where Vince Gilligan's visual storytelling is at its best in not just Better Call Saul, but in the entire Breaking Bad universe. In terms of cinematography, the use of color, and all that kind of stuff. Despite being the longest season with 13 episodes, the season was paced perfectly. Not once did it ever feel like it was slogging or meandering. Some people felt that the second half was a bit too slow, and I can understand why, but for me it kinda made sense given the direction the story was going in. One thing I wanted to mention is that this season has a certain eeriness to it. Something that makes it feel very, very different, yet consistent with the rest of the series. And there's a lot of factors that contribute to this, such as the title sequences being completely drained of color, some of the opening scenes relying solely on visual storytelling, a few parallels to the final season of Breaking Bad, the major character deaths and the way they play out, and just the direction that the show decides to take in the last few episodes. And of course, the series finale. Honestly, it was easily one of the best series finales I've ever seen, and a lot of people seem to agree on that. I don't think it could possibly disappoint anybody. You know, as an ending to not just Better Call Saul, but to the entire Breaking Bad universe, it was surprising, it was effective, it was satisfying, and somewhat inevitable. And because of all of this, this is a perfect season and the best season in the entire show. And one of the best seasons in the Breaking Bad universe. It's perfect, it's flawless from start to finish. I don't have a single issue with it. So I'm gonna talk about the series finale in detail and why I think it worked. So if you haven't seen the show in its entirety, then skip to this time on the screen to find out what I'm gonna be doing next time, or just click off the video. But if you have seen the finale and you wanna know my thoughts, stick around. So, the series finale was perfect. It'll be considered legendary years from now. In fact, before I even get into the finale, just the fact that the show was going beyond the Breaking Bad timeline in the last 4 episodes totally took me by surprise, yet that's kind of what we wanted in the end. You know, Better Call Saul took place between 2002 and 2004, if I'm correct, and Breaking Bad took place in 2008. And all the flash forwards, including this 4-episode epilogue where Saul is Gene Tarkovic, all that takes place in 2010, 2 years years after Breaking Bad. But when it comes to the finale, I didn't expect Gene to get arrested in the first 10 minutes. And while in jail, he contacts Bill Oakley, and then he gets the opportunity to negotiate a sentence. And Mary Schrader so happens to be there. I didn't expect her to show up at all. You know, she believes that Saul was complicit in Hank's death. And instead of taking 7 years, I think that's what he's offered, Saul decides to go to trial and testify, which draws the attention of Kim. And before I discuss the trial, I also liked the flashbacks where Saul was talking to Mike, Walter White himself, and even Chuck about building a time machine. You know, he asks them what would they do if they could go back in time? What would they change? You know, because in jail, I'm pretty sure he was wishing he could just go back in time. I mean, don't we all to some extent? The trial scene is fantastic as well. Everybody's there. Kim is there. Mary's there, even Steve Gomez's widow is there. Saul chooses to represent himself, and he even prefers to testify under his birth name, James McGill, and he came clean about pretty much everything. And to me, in that moment, he kind of regained some of his humanity. I mean, even Kim was taken by surprise when that happened. And props to Kim for owning up to Howard's wife about her and Saul's involvement in his death. And there was even a throwback to the exit sign from season 3 at Chuck's trial. I was really happy to see that. Of course, this idea of his totally backfired and he ended up getting 86 years. But, you know, with good behavior, you never know what could happen. And the bus scene where Saul gets onto a prison bus and all the other convicts start cheering his name, better call Saul, you know, something like that. And that very last scene between him and Kim in the visiting room where they have their final chat and they both share a cigarette, which is a throwback to a scene just like that in the pilot episode. And of course, the very last scene of the entire Breaking Bad universe, because that's what it essentially is, where Saul does the finger shooting thing that Kim did earlier on in the show. And she doesn't reply the same way because, you know, she's put all of that behind her. This ending worked for me because the thing is, I didn't want Saul to be killed off, you know, since Walter White died. I didn't want him to walk free, you know, because Jesse practically did. You know, he got to start a whole new life. I kind of expected him to be punished because when you watch this season in particular, you start to realize that maybe Saul was better off when he was good old Jimmy McGill. You know, he may not have had the life he always wanted back then, but he was a good soul. You know, becoming Saul Goodman changed him in a lot of ways. And I'm glad that he's in jail because if he were to serve maybe 4 or 5 years and walk free after that, what's left for him, you know? What does he have to go back to? Nothing. Plus, he and Kim are at peace with each other and they've put their, you know, self-destructive tendencies behind them. Plus, at the jail he's in, he's practically the most popular convict. I don't see anyone doing him any harm. And he even works in the kitchen, which is, in a way, no different to him being a manager at the Cinnabon he worked at when he was Gene Tukovic. So, yeah, as an ending to the show and as an ending to the Breaking Bad universe, it's perfect, and I felt empty when it was over because I love this show, I love all these characters, and, you know, it's the end of an era for television. So yeah, it was very emotional. I wasn't crying, but I was crying on the inside. And when the episode is over, there's even a message from several cast members thanking us, the fans, for our support. I hope more TV shows do this in the future when they come to an end. This show was never really a ratings juggernaut, but thanks to its reputation and legacy, I'm sure more and more people will take interest in it in the future. And also, on a side note, the deaths of Nacho and Howard were pretty shocking, and Gus killing Lalo in such a badass fashion, which in itself only strengthened the conflict between him and Hector in Breaking Bad. What more could you ask for? And the flashbacks with Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul returning as Walter White and Jesse Pinkman, those were fantastic. And above all else, this final season definitely changes the way you look at Breaking Bad. You know, every time you spot Saul Goodman on that show, you just can't look at him the same way. Even that iconic Better Call Saul commercial webisode, it hits differently now after finishing Better Call Saul. So Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould, just Thank you for creating such a genuine work of art in the world of television. And I think I've said enough. If I keep talking, I might start crying. Who knows? So yeah, those are my thoughts on the final season of Better Call Saul. I don't think we'll ever get another television universe like Breaking Bad at all. At least for the next couple of years or decades. Who knows? I might live to see such a thing. So, next time I'm gonna rank the entire Breaking Bad universe, all 5 seasons of Breaking Bad, the El Camino movie, and all 6 seasons of Better Call Saul. So look forward to that in about a week's time, because it's gonna take a while to make. And yeah, thank you all for watching, guys. Please be sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe, ring the bell. Take care, and I'll see you soon.